Ed Easton Jr. from USA Today's Chiefs Wire. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Yeah, right on. We're just getting ready to embark on this incredible journey across the Atlantic with all these World War II veterans. So it's moving and shaking. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning, just on meetings and a lot of moving parts, which is very exciting. It's going to be great. I'm excited for our returning World War II veterans.
It's definitely amazing, and that actually leads into what I was going to ask first. What led you to your inspiration, I should say, for starting the foundation?
You know what? I've always had an affinity for the military. Being born and raised here in San Diego, it's a big military town. You know, we got the big naval base and the Marine Corps base at Camp Pendleton, and all of my family served in the military. More importantly, my grandfather, Maximino Razzle, he's a Native American, served in the 25th Infantry Division. He was a Pearl Harbor survivor, and he's the one that set the foundation for me. Here in this country, he always told me like, you can achieve anything in this country if you want it and you work hard. Go after it. Doesn't matter where you come from. There's tremendous opportunity in this country, and go after it. And I never lost sight of that. And lo and behold, first one of my generation out of 11 kids to go on to college, let alone get a master's degree from UCLA and go on and play, 13, 14 years in the NFL, just changed my life, tremendously. And I'm just one little small example of living the American dream. And I realize that's on the backs of the men and women that serve. And I want to do my part and to serve and to give back and to say thank you. Thank you for giving this kid right here an opportunity to live the American dream. So I've been doing a bunch of stuff with the military over the years. I've done 11 USO tours around the world, all the way from Afghanistan to Okinawa to Djibouti to Niger. I mean, all over Jordan, Turkey. Yeah, just visiting our troops, just to tell them thank you, that we don't forget about you, especially when they're downrange. Want to make sure that, we can give a little piece of home back to them and talk football and talk Chiefs football and all that kind of good stuff. So, and then back in 2003, I was talking to some World War II veterans. This is when they're in their early 80s. And they talked about going back to Normandy, going back to their battlefield. And I said, really? You want to go back? And they said, absolutely. Absolutely. I want to see what we did. And I said, why don't you go back? They said, oh, I'm too old. I don't have the money. And then it came to me, and I was still playing football at the time. And I said, well, let's go. I'll take you. So that's how it started, from a simple conversation over some coffee about going back to Normandy. With a few World War II veterans. I think we took 4 or 5 World War II veterans back in 2006. That was my first time taking veterans back. And then it blossomed to this big program of having this incredible charter with Delta Airlines and supporting partners with Michelin and Boeing to help facilitate bringing 50 World War II veterans back to Normandy for the 80th anniversary. It just warms my heart to give our greatest generation this incredible opportunity of closure, camaraderie, and brotherhood.
It's definitely amazing, and I've seen so many visuals just from the reactions of the veterans. I'm feeling appreciated for all the work that was done in the past. So it's just an amazing foundation, an amazing message that it is sending. I do want to actually go off of that. In 2019, you were honored as a Salute to Service Award recipient from the NFL. What do you remember from that? Just that honor, because it is going to become one of the bigger honors that the NFL does do every year at the NFL Honors Awards.
Yeah, I have it right here. I'm looking at it right here, right behind me, right here.
Wow,
It's heavy, and this is really special. It's a great reminder to service and over all the years of giving back to our military, and of course, no one does it for the recognition at all. You do it because it's the right thing to do. But it's always nice to be recognized for what what you've done. And this is a testament to all those that give back to our military, because they're the ones who give kids like me an opportunity to play football. There's no playing football in America and having a life that I have if it wasn't for all those that serve. So this is a reminder, um, of people giving to me and for myself to give back to them. So it's a mutual relationship, and it's just truly an honor. that I don't take lightly.
It's definitely amazing. It's a well-earned honor for all the work that you do and you continue to do over the years. I do actually want to stay on the football topic and just to get your actually reflect a little bit on your playing career and starting your career in Kansas City as a draft pick. What do you remember most from that first tenure in Kansas City?
Well, I remember my rookie year. I remember on it was mini camp, and I'm standing on the sideline. And I'm looking at all my heroes. Mind you, I'm 23 years old. I mean, I'm a football fan, right? And then I'm standing next to Derek Thomas. I mean, heck, I watched this guy on TV for so long, and I see, Neil Smith. But then all of a sudden, I'm standing next to a guy named Martin Bayless. And you probably think, who's Martin Bayless? Martin Bayless was a safety. He played probably 14, 15 years in the league. He was a big safety. But more importantly, Martin Bayless had free football camps here in San Diego. He used to play for the Chargers. And I was part of his free football camp, obviously, because we couldn't afford to go to football camps because it cost too much money. So Martin Bayless had these free football camps. And it was pretty ironic to be standing next to him in the NFL with the person who was responsible for helping me get to this point. And we're looking at each other, and he looks at me. He's like, "I know you," and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm getting old. You're the first graduate that has made it to the NFL as part of my free football camps." And that was amazing. You talk about someone paying it forward and giving other kids an opportunity. So me and Leroy Glover, he's also, a participant of Martin Bayless's free football camp. So, I mean, that was a big wake up call for me, just being there, to know that, that I now belong. Right. So now I'm here. I earned my way. So now it's time to get ready. And now it's time to earn a starting spot and to contribute to the team. And we had a great team in '96, in '97, the first tenure. Close. I know '96. I think we missed the playoffs by like one game at the end. It was kind of disheartening too because the year before in '95, I know the Chiefs went to the playoffs and I believe they lost to Denver. And then fast forward to '97. I mean, that year we went 13-3. Elvis Gerbach goes down with the collarbone. He breaks his collarbone, and then remember Rich Gannon comes in, and I think we go 11 games straight, wins 12 games straight. I'm not really sure. I think we went 13-3 that year, and we were rolling. We had Spider-Man, we had Andre Rison, we had Greg Hill. We had Marcus Allen that year. I mean, we had a great team. We were gelling, and unfortunately, we had a bye week. We had a bye in the playoffs. When I think about this, it just puts a pit in my stomach. I think we lost 13-7 or something like that to the Broncos. We played them 3 times that year, and they called back a penalty in the end zone or something like that. I just remember it's just heartening, And you think back now that I'm retired, looking back to those years, like that was the year that I think that we truly, had an opportunity, and then, '98, that was a challenging year. That was the last year of Marty Schottenheimer. I forget what our record was that time, but we failed to make the playoffs that year as well. Just kind of like even, I think it was like 9-7 or 8-8. I'm not really sure, but it was a tough year. I mean, but we managed through. Then we made a coaching change, and we brought in Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator. That year was great, actually. I think we went 9-7 that year. And if we would have beat the Raiders, the last game of the season, I think they kicked a 80-yard field goal, kicked the long field goal, and they weren't even going anywhere. And all we had to do was win. And unfortunately, we lost that game, and we missed the playoffs that year, which is tough. But it was a good run. And then after that, 2000, I think we went 8-8. And then my last year there on my first stint, Dick Vermeil came in. So you think about in those 6 years that I started with the Chiefs, 3 different head coaches. That's tough. It's tough for a young kid because people don't really understand, it's a different philosophy, different mentality when you bring in a new head coach, right? Because they bring in, their mentality and how they like to do things. And with that, you got to understand, as a defensive player, I'm changing schemes. I'm changing positions. You're going from a 4-3 over front to an under front, 3-4. It's always changes. It's a whole new language. I think a lot of the fans out there don't really understand when you have a coaching change like this, it changes. And, it's a luxury when players have a coach and a system there for their career. I mean, I look at, Derek Brooks, who, him and I played the same position. He was in that Tampa, same coach, same defensive scheme for a long time, same position. And that's great because when you know that position, you know what to expect. You've seen it already before, versus the 6 years that I was in Kansas City. I played middle linebacker. I played, weak outside linebacker. Then I played strong linebacker. Then Derek Thomas and I were rushing off the edge on third down back in 97 and 98. I mean, he was on one side, I was on the other side on third down. And then Gunther said, "Hey, we need you to start covering." So then I go from from rushing the quarterback to covering, wide receivers and tight ends and running backs off the back foot on third down. So it's just always changing, but that's something that as a player you just have to adjust to. Just it's out of your control. I mean, in a perfect world, I wish we had the same coach, the same defensive scheme for my whole entire career. But unfortunately, it's not, it doesn't happen that way. And in my career, and I was just 3 coaches in 6 years. And then I get Marty back again with the Chargers. And then, for that time. And then, yeah. So it's interesting. There's some things you can control. There's some things you can't control. And what Marcus Patton always told me, he said, don't worry about the things you can't control. You know what you can do on the field. You know what you can say. You know what you can do. And just worry about that. You're going to have people always talking, but don't worry about them. Just do your job and do what you know best.
Definitely hear that. And it's such a good motto. Also, just make sure you do your job first. I know they also have Bill Belichick kind of, he kind of pushes that as well. But I do want to talk about when you were with the Chiefs for that first tenure. You had brought up playing with Derek Thomas. What was it like having Derek Thomas as a teammate?
It was special. He called me Surfer Boy. They call me Surfer Boy, and everybody, if you know Derek Thomas always had a nickname. If you were friends with Derek Thomas had a nickname for you. I'm telling you. And he took me under his wing when I was a rookie. California, he called me California Boy. It's like because I'm from California, UCLA, born and raised. On the beach, and just different. But him and I connected for the years that we were together. Like I said, he took me under his wing, and and the way that he was able to perform, and just to see how, he would just switch his mentality on game day. Just like go from a happy-go-lucky guy to like a serious professional. Like it's on now, and I just like, wow, this is cool. So from a young player, you're watching all this. You're watching Dan Salamua. You're watching Neil Smith. You're watching James Hasty, Del Carter. Like I was watching all of these guys and learning from them. Just see how they operate, see what they do, and it was really helpful. And just seeing how serious Derek was about games and how he just turned it on, and the way that he worked, and we were friends off the field as well, and he's always come out to California. He's always called me like last minute, like, Surfer Boy, I'm coming to you right now. I'm at the airport. I'm like, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. He's like, I'm picking you up. Let's go. So I got to get dressed and off we go. Off we go. So I miss him. I miss his laugh. I miss his, his spunk and everything. And he's truly lost. I mean, he's truly missed.
He definitely is. And I do want to go into when you talked about going to the Chargers. I believe that was 2002. What was the reaction, or just I guess your reaction to playing against the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium, but on the other sideline? Did it feel different? Was it or is it just any other game? 'Cause a lot of players have their different opinions on it. Did it feel like any other game? You're just going back to Arrowhead Stadium as a visitor?
No, absolutely not. I mean, absolutely not. Like Kansas City and Arrowhead Stadium, that's my home. They're the one. Kansas City is my town. I mean, they adopted me basically, when I was 20, 22, 23 years old. I mean, they took me in, right? So they're the ones that that's my foundation, right? And I tell you, I never wanted to leave. I never wanted to leave Kansas City. I just signed a new contract, but as I told you, right? When you have a new coach that comes in, they have a different mentality. Dick Vermeil came in and he was all about offense. So we have to take the money away from the defense and put on the offense. So these are things that you can't control, right? But I never wanted to leave Kansas City. I want to make sure that be known. I think everybody knew that because I think the city didn't want me to leave. I didn't want to leave, but it's out of my control. I got released, and I got picked up by by Marty Schottenheimer and the Chargers, and they brought me in 2002. And being in the AFC West, I got to face my old team twice. And it's one of these deals where um, you know, you didn't break up with the person; they broke up with you, right? So I didn't want to, I wanted to stay in a relationship, but it wasn't up to me because I got broken up with. And it's not a good feeling, right? When you get, I mean, I think all of us have been in relationships. It's not a good feeling. So yeah, but it was very special. I'll never forget going back into Arrowhead back in 2002, and I was a Charger, and I'll never forget the honor that the fans of Kansas City, gave me when I went back there. Because I know it doesn't happen. I know how fans are for sure, especially if you leave. But I think there was a different feeling for what I've done in the community and the rapport I have with the fans in Kansas City. Yeah, so I'll never forget that. Going back to that stadium, and of course, like any player, I'm a competitor, right? And I want to prove my worth. I want to prove to everybody, you should have never broken up with me, right? That's the mentality that you always have, like any relationship, right? You want to show the other person, like, hey, you made a mistake. So I wanted just to play, and it was very special. It was kind of surreal, like going back to the stadium, because I know it so well, and there's so many memories, like. I remember getting my first interception right here against the Carolina Panthers. And I remember, sacking John Elway right here. Like these are all going through my head. I'm back in Arrowhead Stadium, but I wore a different uniform, So a lot of respect, for the players that I played with and now I play against, just like practice. But it was a warm feeling, just being reconnected with my friends that we worked so hard together over the years. But then I'll never forget this. And this is what will forever indebt me to Kansas City and and the Kansas City Chiefs, because there's one thing about Kansas City, the fans, the city, and the team, we're all together, and it's amazing. It's very close knit, and it's very different than other organizations. I played in other organizations, and it's very different in Kansas City. That's why there's something special about Kansas City. But I think it starts at the top. And I'll tell you, we won that game when I was with the Chargers. We beat the Chiefs, and I believe I got an interception at the end to kind of seal it. Um, and after the game, I was in the shower, and someone told me, "Hey, get out of the shower, get ready, get dressed. Someone wants to say hello to you." So I get dressed, I go out there, and you know who it was? It was no other than the owner, Lamar Hunt, to come to me and just say, hello, thank you for the years at Kansas City. Just that respect, you know what I mean? And I never, ever forget that, because here's the owner of the team, and even after a loss, coming to the opponent's locker room, to shake my hand and say thank you, that will forever, I will never, ever forget that, because that just shows the kind of quality of the organization of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I mean, so it was very special.
There's definitely a lot of love from Chiefs Kingdom for you. So it's definitely a mutual thing. I do want to go, and actually, when you went to San Diego, you became a two-time All-Pro. You are also on a short list of players that had over 20 interceptions and over 20 sacks. what made you so versatile, and especially at the linebacker position, playing at a smaller weight compared to the average linebacker in the NFL at that time?
Yeah, I just call myself a playmaker. I'm just a playmaker. I'm not just happy about making a tackle. I want to strip the ball out. I want to strip the ball out, pick it up, and run for a touchdown. And I'm not happy about just getting an interception. I'm scoring. So let's not just be happy with the status quo. You got a sack. You got to strip it out. Get to the end zone. So I just pride myself on being a playmaker. I'm I try to play the game. I try to understand my position, of course, but everybody else's position as well, especially on defense. So I know what everybody's rule. I know what everybody's responsibility is. And then I study like crazy, so I know what the offense is going to do. I can anticipate plays. That's why I was always around the ball so much. I mean, my tackle numbers are up there with the top. I think top 5 in solo tackles in the history of the game. It's just like I just always want to be by the ball, and I always tell the guys on the team, "Hey, see me at the ball because I'm going to be there." And it's just like I just pride myself on being a playmaker. Don't talk about it, be about it. You know, don't talk about what you're going to do, just do it and just show it. And it's just like I play the game with a chip on my shoulder. For being undersized. I know they try to try me, especially when I'm playing linebacker. If I'm playing weak outside linebacker, playing behind the 3 technique. I know like some of the teams that think they can run the ball, they want to run lead open right at me. Let's just try number 59. Well, come on, try. You know what I mean? Because see, my game is this, right? I know they're going to do it. I see the formation. However they get to it, they motion, but they get to they get to the formation of lead open. I know what it is. I see the guard looking down for the double team. I see this guy looking up. I see the fullback looking up at me like that. Come on. I study. I know what's going on. You know what I mean? So I anticipate that play. So guess what? It's a will blitz. And I'm coming right at you, right? I'm coming right at you, right at the fullback. So, and I stuff it. It's done. They're not going to do it again. So it's just like I just play with kind of like with a chip on my shoulder and try to understand and anticipate the plays to make plays. I'll call out plays, when I see formations. I'll call it on defense. Hey, watch out. Here comes the counter. Here comes the power play. Look at, truck, like all these different plays. And like, boom, we can stop it. We can make it happen. And even like on, and all the interceptions that I've, received, that I got, just knowing the routes that they run, it's like tight end backside, it's going to be a 7 route, so I'm going to run your route. I'm going to run your route and pick your ball off, but you got to know that, right? So it's part of like understanding the game, studying, and being able to anticipate and then make plays. So that's what I pride myself on.
It's amazing. And obviously you saw from the numbers you put up and the impact that you had on your teams, it definitely showed. My last question, this actually kind of blends into what you were saying about having a chip on your shoulder. The Chiefs this past year, the defense was basically the catalyst for the team in going to another Super Bowl. What are your thoughts on just how far the defense has come? And just because they all came in, I remember at the beginning of last season having a chip on their shoulders. What was your thoughts on the defense and its improvement this past season?
It put a big smile on my face because I likened to it back in the days, when I was with the Chiefs. We had the Marty Ball, right? So we had defense. We had really, really amazing defense, and the defense was a catalyst. And it seems like that was the way, last year. Of course, the offense is like, with Mahomes and everybody there. I mean, of course, they're scoring and making things happen for sure. But, the defense was a stronghold. Like, come on, and it showed. And just like it put a big smile on my face because, of course, like, I love defense. I love when games are like 3-0, and to watch the defense this past year, it's just exciting. I mean, and it made it exciting. I mean, they made it exciting, to watch my defense, and they just continue to get better and better. They made some additions, and it's going to continue to grow. I think, with that confidence that they've had this past year is just going to grow into this year.
Definitely see that. Donnie, thank you so much for your time. And I'm just, thank you for all the work that you are doing with the veterans and continue to do. It's helpful and it's very important. So once again, just thank you so much.